Like, I think.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Sleep When You're Dead book club. I have the lovely Gwen from Gwendolyn Kensinger. She is one of my YouTube besties. If you aren't following her or subscribed or listening to her podcast, you should. But I guess Gwen, why don't you go ahead and let us know where we can find you, what you like, and things like that.
Sorry, I was just laughing like before we came live. Me and Jesse, we're always like cutting up. So I'm Gwen from Gwendolyn Kensinger. I love reading thrillers. So I was so excited when Jesse was like, "Hey, you want to do one with me?" I was like, "Absolutely." Especially because it's like backlist thrillers, because I tend to read a lot of new thrillers and don't really make time for the backlist. So that was really exciting to me. Like she said, I have a podcast, I do YouTube, I'm on Instagram, and I'm just really excited to be here.
Yay. And also definitely check out her podcast. It's one of my favorite. Actually, I think it's the only podcast I really actually listen to religiously. I'll catch like other ones like here and there, but definitely check out her podcast. She has great topics, great book discussions. And I'm not saying that because I've been on 2 of them, but but yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. We will be discussing The Dying for Christmas by Tammy Cohen. So if you are new to my live shows for the book club, I typically like to do a few like games or like activities before. Then we'll talk about like non-spoilers, and then we'll jump into the spoilers and things like that. So, but one of the cool things that Gwen is actually adding, and I feel like you do this on your podcast as well, but she actually came up with a signature cocktail to share. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So like she said, on my podcast, I do 4 book discussions a year. Here it is. But I always pair signature cocktails with the book that we discuss. And Jesse's been on 2 of my book discussions, so she knows that I do this. So I was like, should I pick a signature cocktail for us? Not that I've made it or anything tonight. We're both kind of a little under the weather, but I thought this white Christmas margarita was perfect. It just has like coconut milk, tequila, of course, and you can garnish it any way you want. I sent her the link, so she'll be sharing it, in the description box, like after the show and stuff like that. So if you want to make it, I think it looks gorgeous. And I know like some of the covers are different, but mine does have like a snowy cover. So I figured white Christmas. And after reading this, you might need a margarita. So
yeah. This actually looks really good. I love margaritas. Let me take that back. I like anything tequila based.
There you go.
I love tequila, but like it can get me in trouble like real bad. So when I looked it up and it said margarita, I was like, "Oh, I've got to have this." So it should be in the description box. I will double check to make sure it's saved, but if you guys are interested in making that, it should be in the description box, at least by the time the live show is over. But I guess we will move on to our first activity. I try to change it up a little bit because I feel like I've used a few times. So let me pull up the screen. I thought since it is the holiday season that we could actually do not a buzz quiz, but a quiz. It's called Which Holiday Tradition Matches Your Personality? I've already taken it. So I already know what my results are, but I thought it'd be really cool to see like what
my gosh.
Okay. So I think it's like 15 to 20 questions. Some of them are really random, but the first one says, where do you tend to sit on a bus? Near the front, somewhere in the middle, or you head to the back?
In the middle.
That's what I put too. Choose your snow transportation.
It has the snow plow. That is hilarious. That's not my answer. That's hilarious. I'm going to go with the snowmobile.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I put too. Interesting. Do you think you'd be a better rock star, movie star, or politician?
Ooh, this is hard. Not rock star, because no. My husband tells me I'm tone deaf. And I don't think I could do movie, but like maybe politician.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with it.
I put movie star because my husband says I'm so dramatic all the time. So next one, choose one of Santa's reindeer.
Vixen.
Ooh, okay. I put Prancer because I love that movie. Oh yeah. Hello. Okay. There. Wait. Come back. Next question. How would you describe your style? Trendy, relaxed, tailored, or sporty?
I'm relaxed.
That's what I put too. Choose a holiday movie to watch.
My favorite movie's not on there.
What's your favorite movie?
Home Alone.
Oh.
I mean, for Christmas time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with A Christmas Story.
Classic. I think I put Elf. It's not my favorite, but oh, okay. This one made me think of you. Choose a beverage.
Choose a beverage. Ooh, I want all of them. I'm gonna go with, I don't know, I'm a little under the weather, so this is so weird. I'll go with mint tea.
I think I put sangria. Which of these is your favorite part of the holidays?
Well,
Thought these were kind of weird, but
yeah. I'll go with rituals.
okay. I put parties.
I mean, I don't go to any Christmas parties.
Yeah, this year for some reason we don't have any parties to go to. But oh yeah, this is creepy.
Oh, I was gonna say that probably is that a snake? I'm gonna go with that.
Oh, I picked one of these two. I can't remember.
I think it's the doll though, but I mean it's a doll, so you know.
Okay. Which word do you most associate with the holidays?
Family. I guess family.
Okay. I think that's what I put too. This was random, but pick a color.
I'll go with red.
Okay. Choose an activity.
Okay, just a random activity. Let's see. Huge concert, dinner with the family, decorating for a party, block party. I wish I knew who the concert was. We'll go with block party.
Okay. I put decorating because that's my favorite thing.
I do like decorating too. I liked all of those.
Yeah. What is your favorite holiday song?
I have no idea.
I only knew like two of them.
I know all of them. I think like the top one reminds me more of like New Year's Eve, though. Let's see.
Okay. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, let's see. I'm singing all these in my head. Maybe Deck the Halls. I don't know.
That's what I put too. How long can you wait in a line before getting irritated?
I'm a Zen master. That's my husband. I'm gonna go with probably 10 or 15 minutes.
That's me. Which part of the holidays do you enjoy the most? Being with loved ones?
Yes.
You like holiday cheer?
Mm-hmm.
I picked the other one.
It's a toss-up, you know.
What is your biggest meal of the day?
Dinner.
I think I put lunch, but I could be wrong. These stupid advertisements. Okay. Which looks most appetizing?
Not caviar. What?
Never
Maybe the jelly donut, but I don't really like jelly donuts, but not the green smoothie and not the candy and not that frostbitten apple. None of that.
I was in the same boat. I was like, these all look disgusting.
But I'll take the jelly donut.
Okay. I think I put candy. How long do your holiday lights or decorations stay up?
I guess like a month
Okay,
or
that's
longer.
what I put. I typically do mine up on Veterans Day and then come down on Martin Luther King Day.
Okay.
So mine's like 2 months actually. Favorite subject in school?
Art.
Oh, I put lunch.
True.
And what time do you typically wake up without an alarm?
Let's say 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
That's what I put too. You are Christmas caroling.
Yay!
Mine was a gingerbread house, which I hate those.
Oh.
I don't like gingerbread houses. I don't like gingerbread cookies or really anything ginger. Sorry, someone was trying to FaceTime me. Reject. Okay. Let me look at some of the comments. I know. I was like, gosh, these are like the weirdest questions. Let's see who's all here. Hey, Sarah. Helen. Another Sarah. Hello. Oh, thank you, Kim. Hello. Do you guys order these copies of Dying for Christmas from Book Depository? Mine came from Amazon.
Yeah, mine came from Amazon too, but I think when I ordered it, it was like the last one that you could get in this cover. And I don't think it came from like Amazon. I think it came from like a third party seller through Amazon.
Yeah. It was funny because when we both said that was going to be the book, I was like, okay. So I found the paperback. I was like, ew, that's ugly. And then I ordered the hardback because it was prettier. And it took longer to get to my house.
Yeah.
And then you said you did the same thing. I thought that was so funny. You were both sick and didn't cancel the dedication. I know. I think mine's just allergies because we both live in the same state and like it's like hot, especially today. And then it's like cold at night. So
yeah, when we say it was hot, it was 70 degrees today. And yesterday it was in the 40s. So it goes from like cold to hot. And I'm just like, my nose is just like draining over here. So I'm sniffing a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You read yours off the Hoopla app. I do not have that app. I feel like I'm the only one that hasn't used it. I heard it's good for like graphic novels. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think she was talking about the drink. I'm up stupidly late again. Well, thank you for joining.
Middle of the bus.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
Hey,
Patty. I didn't do this, but just wanted to hang out doing a puzzle. Nice. I feel like everyone's doing puzzles lately. I thought about bringing mine out, but then I typically don't finish them, and I didn't feel like cleaning it up. So, okay, let me get the next game going. Okay, present. Okay, share screen. Okay. So I call this one Christmas Chaos. Okay. I kind of did something similar when we did the October with Haley. It's kind of like a this or that game, which I thought was kind of fun. And I was so happy when I actually put the slides together. So out of 2 choices, you have to pick, I guess, like a chaotic Christmas scenario based off classic movies.
Okay.
So would you rather be stuck at home with burglars while your family's in Paris or hide away on top of a mountain while away from Christmas or people?
I want to do Home Alone.
Is that because it's your favorite movie?
Yes.
My favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch. Actually, it's my favorite movie, hands down, but only the Jim Carrey version. So
yeah.
But yeah, you have fun with the burglars then.
Well, I think I could defeat them. If that kid can defeat them, I could defeat them. I'm smart.
Okay, so since you like Home Alone, do you like 1 or 2?
1.
1, okay. Because 1's when they go to Paris, right? And 2's when he's in New York.
Yes, we'll say yes. It's been a while, but I actually like them both, so it's hard to say like I like one over the other.
Yeah, I love those movies.
I think New York is first. I don't know. Someone let us know.
Would you rather spend all day? Oh, yeah. Make sure you're answering in the comments. We'd love to hear your answers as well. But would you rather spend all day making your house look Christmas perfect or spend all Christmas Eve looking for the one perfect gift?
Okay. I feel like in real life, I'm spending all day making my house look Christmas perfect. However, my husband is spending all of Christmas Eve, his birthday, looking for the perfect gift for me.
Oh, it's his birthday on Christmas Eve? Oh. Yeah. I feel realistically I would be making my house look perfect, but I have not done any Christmas shopping at all.
Do you have a lot of people to shop for?
No, I mostly have kids. So,
Yeah.
and they're so easy. That's what I plan on doing tomorrow if I feel up to it. But yeah, for some reason, I am the procrastinator.
Some years I am, some years I'm on it.
Do you want to spend all day in New York looking for your dad or spend all day at the mall drunk with your best friends?
Drunk with my best friends.
Yeah. Have you seen Bad Moms Christmas?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my gosh, you have got to watch it. It is so funny.
Yes, sounds fun already.
Would you rather get the chance of riding a train to the North Pole or getting that one perfect gift you've always wanted?
Riding a train to the North Pole.
Really?
Yes.
I think I'd rather get that one perfect gift, even though I don't know what it is.
But what would the perfect gift be? See?
I don't know, like a fourth dog or something. I don't know.
I'm already at the North Pole talking to Santa, getting everything.
Well, I can tell you right now, it will not be that pink bunny suit. I actually don't like that movie for some reason. I think it's just because I've seen it so much every year.
Yeah.
But, and then it's so predictable, but
yeah.
Oh well. Okay. Would you rather find out your dad is really Santa Claus or finding out your dad turned into a snowman?
Santa Claus.
I would definitely say. And I wasn't actually sure if Jack Frost was a Christmas movie, but Google said it was.
So we'll go with yes.
Yeah, we'll go with yes. If Google says yes, then it's a yes. Okay. Having the whole town hate you for not bringing out Frosty, or having to go to 4 places to see your difficult family.
I'll say going to 4 places to see your difficult family.
It's actually like a reality. So, I don't know. Probably
the whole town hate you. That means everywhere you go, they hate you.
I don't know.
I don't want anybody to hate me. So no.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't be fazed by the people in my town. Just to be difficult, I'll go with people hating me. Okay, lastly, and this is like a controversial topic, but like spending Christmas looking at past, present, and future, or saving Christmas from terrorists.
I will save Christmas from the terrorists.
I would pick that too, even though I am that one person that does not think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I will fight you to the end to prove it. I've seen it. I just don't understand. There's no holiday cheer, but I had to throw that in there for some reason. But yeah, that's it.
Which one would you pick?
Saving. I gotta save the people. I could care less about my past.
I mean, like
apparently my present is saving terrorists.
That was fun.
Oops. Let's see. Remove. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see what other people said. Sarah's editing a video. Woohoo. Nice. Kim said she would make the house look perfect. All day making my house look perfect. Yes. Make my house look perfect. Kim said she will get drunk. We'll meet up and we'll all get drunk together. She would choose the perfect gift. Dad is a Santa Claus. Neither. Which one is it? Oh, I guess the difficult family.
Yeah.
And she will save Christmas. Nice. Okay. Let me pull up my notes. Okay. So I guess we will get into the non-spoiler section. Definitely comment down below what your thoughts or opinions are. Gwen, do you want to give like a brief breakdown of what this book's about in case
Okay.
anyone's viewing and doesn't
I
know what
kind
the
of
book
just need to refresh because
Okay.
basically you have this woman that gets kidnapped and taken, like she gets invited over for a drink and she goes to his house and she's kidnapped for a period of time. And during that time, the person that kidnaps her gives her these 12 gifts of Christmas. And they're not like your traditional happy gifts of Christmas. Of course, she was kidnapped. So, like, they're creepy gifts, like, teeth and weird stuff like that. So it's, will she escape? I don't know. And I think the part that it said is that she has a secret that may just mean she has a chance to make it out alive.
Yes.
That's that one. I basically picked this one. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for letting me pick.
Of course.
I picked this one because I'm always down for a thriller, but it was, during the holidays, and I was just really in the mood to like read holiday books. And I thought, let's see if there's any holiday thrillers out there. So I just did like a quick Google search and I saw this one. I mean, Dying for Christmas. I was like, okay, let me read what this is about. So I read the synopsis and I was like, ooh, that sounds dark. Let me send this to Jesse and see if this is okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, you were like, ooh, yeah, this sounds good. So we immediately were like, okay, that's the one. And we both ordered it. So like I said, anytime there's a thriller about someone being like captured or kidnapped or held hostage or something like that, I just love that in thrillers in general. So I was down.
Oh yeah. And it's funny, like when I picked, like when I told you to go ahead and pick a book, I was not even thinking of like a Christmas thriller. So when you threw that, I like immediately jumped all over that. I was like, but let me like read the synopsis just to make sure. And it just sounded perfect. I didn't even think about like, I didn't even know Christmas thrillers were really a thing. So.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I knew there were like wintry thrillers. So that was like my backup thing. I mean, I had never heard of this or this author or anything before. So yeah, it just stuck out to me. I was like, all right, this can work. December, Christmas, thriller, let's do it.
Yeah, it was a perfect pick. Okay, so let's see. So was this your first book by this author? And are there any other books by this author that you're thinking about picking up?
So I haven't read anything else by the author yet. And I haven't really had a chance to like see if there's any other books that I'm interested in. I have a pretty healthy TBR already going, like a physical TBR, like I have a bookshelf full of books I need to read. So I haven't really looked anything up. But I do know that this author writes under 3 different pen names.
Oh.
So she goes by Tammy Cohen for her psychological thrillers. She goes by Rachel Rice, or it's RHYS for historical mysteries, and Tamara Cohen for contemporary dramas. So if those are your things, you might want to, if you want to go to the author's website. And I also don't think she has a huge backlist at all, like of all of her books under all of her pen names. But I did see she does have a couple others under this name for the psychological thrillers, but I didn't really like read what they were about or anything like that. But I'm not like opposed to it. It's just that I have a lot of thrillers on my list already. So.
Don't we all?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, this was actually my first by this author. So, and that's one thing I love about like this book club that I do. I feel like every time I pick one up, it's by a different author that I either haven't read from before or heard of. So, I did look one up that I thought was really interesting. And luckily it's the only book by this author at my library.
Oh.
So I've already placed it on hold. So I might try to squeeze it into my January TBR, but it's called They All Fall Down. And it's basically like a brief breakdown. It's a woman who had everything, perfect job, family, and husband, and then lost it all and is now in a psychiatric clinic.
Ooh.
And other patients are dying and doctors saying it's suicide, but she doesn't think so.
Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah. But I did look up the other ones by her, and I didn't know she had a pen name either, so I might check out those names. But this was the only one that actually sounded interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you see that she had like a lot of backlists? Like from her website, it didn't look like it.
Under Tammy Co, I think there was like 5 maybe.
Oh, okay, that is pretty good. So
I
maybe
mean, on Goodreads it said 5, and then there was a few other ones, but they didn't look like, I don't know, they just didn't seem like the same books. I don't know if maybe there's like another author or something, but yeah, I did see there was like maybe 4 or 5, but this was the only one that looked interesting. Never heard of this author. I really enjoy the writing style. I wish I had read it physically instead of listening to the audio. Yeah. I'll get to that.
We'll touch on that.
Yes. If you had to describe this book in 3 words, what would you say?
And I was like, this feels like what I ask people on my podcast. So now I'm like, dang it. Okay. So here's the thing. It's hard to sum up in 3 words because, and we will touch on this later, it's really told there's 2 parts to the story, and the 2 parts are so vastly different from one another. So I would say that the first part, I would say strange, eerie, and unsettling. I know those are all kind of the same thing, but there's your words. Yeah. And I would say that the second part was frustrating and who cares?
I didn't think about like dividing into 2 parts because the 2 parts are very different. I suck at this. I put like basic words like dark, crazy, and then I know this is like 2 words, but I put red flags.
Yeah.
Which I'll touch on later too as well.
Yes. That was a good one. Red flags is a good one because first chapter, red flags.
Let's see. I saw a few more comments. I'm intrigued by anything within a psych hospital retreat. Yes, of course. Because you work in that field as well. So this is my first book by this author, but we'll be reading more by her. Nice. Same. Okay. Are there any books that you would compare it to or recommend if people are interested in this content or style? Okay, go for it. Yes, that was on my list too.
Say it is not so much like this book.
It is. It's so very similar.
If you've read this book and you liked this book, read this one.
Yeah.
Say it's the same. It's told in 2 parts. The plots are similar. The writing is similar. I felt like I was like reading the same book again.
Yeah, I did too.
I got frustrated at the same moments. I enjoyed the same things. I was just like, and I know that we've both read this one. So I was like, it's this book. That's what I wanted to message you that day. Like, be prepared. It's still missing all over again.
I also put still missing, but I also put Misery, Gone Girl, I think it's called The Good Girl by Mary Kubica. Mm-hmm. And then I also put Lie to Me, which was another.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like if you wanted to really narrow it down, it is very similar to Still Missing. But if you want to put Misery and Gone Girl put together, that's basically it.
Yeah, let me just pitch this really quick.
Okay.
So this story is about a woman that gets kidnapped. And she's held hostage for a period of time. And the same thing that happens in this one happens in this one. Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, you're right. It is like almost identical to that.
Yeah.
Out of the 2, which one would you say is your favorite out of the 2?
Oh, well, okay. I will say this. I don't know which one would be my favorite. I don't even remember when I rated this. I think I rated them the same. Mm-hmm. I will say that Dying for Christmas offered a little bit more in that second part than Still Missing did.
Yeah.
So maybe a slight edge. I don't know. But because I had read Still Missing first, when I got to that second part, I was kind of like, okay, let's just do that. Come on, just tell me.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
All right. So everyone comment down below if you haven't already. But on 1 to 5, what is your star rating?
Okay, here's the thing. This is another complicated. I like to complicate things.
It's okay.
So I rated it a 3. But like I said, there's 2 parts. I really enjoyed the first part. I gave that part, if I was going to separate it, because to me it feels like 2 separate stories, I would rate that first part 4 stars. The second part I hated, and I gave it 2 stars. And and I gave it 2 stars instead of 1 star because it did offer some additional twists. So then the 2 and the 4 averaged together is 4 stars, but it's probably a 2. But I'm going with 3 because if I,
Yeah.
what about
I am also settling on a 3.
Okay, good.
And my reasoning is very similar to yours. I thought the first part was really interesting. The second part was not as interesting. And also, I feel like I've read this story at least 2 other times this year with Still Missing and Lie to Me. So I'm giving it a 3. I thought overall it was pretty good. I feel like if you haven't read Still Missing or Lie to Me or Misery or Gone Girl, you'll think this is 5 stars.
Yeah.
But yeah. But like you said, and I feel like I've read the story multiple times that it doesn't shock me. Sarah gave it 2, and she also said that she still owns Still Missing and now has the urge to unhaul it. I personally think Still Missing was better.
Okay, there you go.
I feel like it was darker.
Yes, I was just about to say that this part, the first part, is definitely darker. Like it goes there. It's dark. Dark things happen. Whereas Dying for Christmas wasn't really that dark.
No. I mean, it does have dark stuff in it, but I feel like Still Missing almost kind of went to that like Karen Slaughter side. But I mean, not like Karen Slaughter, but like I would say it's
near there.
Yeah, it's like there. Like I was very on the edge of my seat for that book, but love Still Missing 2. Nice. Still Missing 5 stars. Dying for Christmas 2 stars.
Well, see, I wonder if that's because they read, like Vanessa, did you read Still Missing first and then did Dying for Christmas feel like so similar? You know how like people do that with books that are so similar? They'll like the first one, but then the second one, they're just like, well, I've already read this book.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's my main reason, but yeah. But Sarah, you should totally read Still Missing because obviously it is better. 3.5, 3 stars, 3.5. 4 stars, nice. 3.5. I agree with Gwen. It's almost 2 separate stories, and I almost wish the second part didn't exist.
Yes,
exactly. I agree with Gwen. Like the first part, second part was it was way too long. I gave 5 stars. Yeah, so it is the better out of the 2, in my opinion. Okay, so before we get into spoilers, I think it would be nice to go over trigger warnings for those who are interested in this book. It may be spoilery, so viewers, if you don't want to be spoiled, this may be the last question before we jump into spoilers, so feel free to listen to the triggers if that's something important to you. What trigger warnings would you like to mention? I suck at giving trigger warnings. I feel like I'm just not as easily triggered. So I always rely on other people to tell me what trigger warnings there are. So
no problem. You know, that's something I always try to do.
Yes.
I don't think that this had any like super heavy, bad, like I would say Still Missing definitely has like more trigger warnings than like Dying for Christmas. Dying for Christmas was like kind of low. But I would say obviously kidnapping, torture, manipulation, cruelty, and there is like one small off page, so it doesn't actually happen in the story, but it's mentioned in the story of an animal death.
Yeah.
So those are the only ones.
I think also like gaslighting as well might be mentioned, and then oh crap, the death of a child as well. So if those are triggering for you, definitely keep that in mind. Vanessa also agrees that may have been what happened with the 2 stories. Mental abuse, definitely. Definitely. Okay. So we are going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you're still interested, definitely go read it. Come back to the show. But we're going to give out spoilers. So, okay. Most books can say a lot about a book based on the first chapter. I know I personally have done try chapter tags / videos to get a sense of the book if I'm ready to read it as well. And I know you did a Books and Breakfast video, which I thought was really clever. So what are your thoughts based on just the first chapter?
Okay, so in the first chapter, you're basically introduced to the two main characters, Jessica and Dominic. And I immediately thought Dominic was a creeper. I mean, he's following her around while she's shopping, like, red flag,
Yeah.
red flag. And I mean, and he tells her, it's not like we as the reader know that he did it, or he's telling us, the reader, that he did it. He's telling her, I followed you around.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still engaging with him. So he definitely seemed to know more about her than he should. Like, he was like, oh yeah, who's the walk for? I was like, okay, he really was following you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really weird. And then Jessica was just like way too forthcoming with information. I don't know about you, but if I'm sitting in Panera or some cafe and some stranger comes and sits beside me, first of all, I'm like, who are you? You know, but then if they're sitting there engaging, like, oh yeah, so I just like followed you around the mall for the last hour. And then I start telling them like detailed information about myself, about my family, about like my nieces and my nephews. I'm like, I would not ever. So I'm just thinking she's an idiot telling all this information to the strangers, and he's a creeper. So right there, I was just like, no. So basically, I was just getting a sense of the characters. And then, you know, right after that, he invites her over for a drink. And I'm thinking, is she really going to say, I mean, obviously, I know she's going to say yes to this because of the synopsis. But I'm like, are you really about to say yes?
Yeah. I thought the same thing. Like, for one, I hate that I share this name with this woman. Like, no association. You're not welcomed into the Jessica Club. But yeah, my first thoughts, I thought Jessica was extremely stupid. And I couldn't believe that she would just get up and leave a public setting with someone that she just met less than 5 minutes ago. He admitted that he had been following her. There were so many red flags. And what really kills me is, even though her relationship with her boyfriend isn't the greatest, she's still in a relationship with someone.
Right.
And you just go home to some guy that, the other thing is, she kept mentioning like how good looking he was. And I'm like, okay, he could be good looking all he wants, but he's still a creeper. He's a stalker.
He still stalked you around the store without you knowing.
Yeah. It'd be one thing if she didn't know that, but the fact that he like flat out just told her, I was like, okay, I'm taking my coffee to go.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. That was so weird. Renee said, I really liked the first chapter. It kept me reading. Yeah. Even though she was extremely stupid, and I'm like, why are you like going home with this guy just to have a drink? Or the other thing is, it's not like she followed him to his apartment too, which I don't know if that was
in his car.
No, she got in the car with him. Like,
okay, here's the thing. Let me be the devil's advocate here. So since I read the synopsis of this one, since we were trying to choose the book, I usually don't read the synopsis. And this is exactly why. It's because that last line in the synopsis that says, but Jessica has a secret of her own, a secret that just may mean she has a chance to make it out alive. So that was always in the back of my head the entire time. The whole time that this stuff was going on, I'm like, what's her secret? What's her secret? Does she know this guy? Is she purposely getting in the car? Is she a serial killer? Is she purposely going to his house? Like, he's the one that invited her, but she gets to his house and she kills him. Like, you know, who knows what's going to go on? So that was always in the back of my head. So even though she was making dumb decisions, I was like, but she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. It was always in the back of my head.
Yeah. I do remember that part, but I didn't think that far ahead. But like, I knew probably like after like the second chapter, I was like, okay, I completely forgot she has a secret.
Yeah.
And then I thought maybe because she was eventually like hearing voices, I was like, maybe she can like, I don't know, communicate with people. I don't know.
Yeah, like maybe she's just, you know, needs to go to a psychiatric hospital. Who knows?
I also love that Gwen read the first chapter. It was like she was telling us a bedtime story. The first chapter, Dev had a ton of red flags. Yeah. Like at work, that's one of my favorite things. I have like a pen and like a piece of red paper, and I like wave red flags, especially when there's like creepers at my job or like people will say stuff. I'm like, red. But yeah, the first chapter, I'm like, God, either she's an idiot or she's just oblivious to everything. Sounds like the spoiler "Survive the Night" by Riley Sager. Yeah, I can agree with that. That's very true. Didn't her mother ever tell her not to talk to strangers? Yeah, like that should be like rule number one. Low key, I have not followed anyone in a store trying to catch their eye, but just to smile and say hi, then go red and run out. If it was a man though, I defo not trust that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's different. Like if someone catches your eye and you're just kind of like looking at him, but he was doing it for like hours. He never said anything the entire time until she sat down. And then he starts telling her the things that she has in her bag. I was like,
yeah. Like, I'm always on high alert when it comes to like my surroundings, and like I will make sure like my back's not to the door because I want to like make sure I have like a clear view of like an exit and everything like that. And for her to just be like, "Oh yeah, you want to drive? I'll go have a drink with you." I just thought that was
but what about the part where he tells her like, "Why don't you go ahead and like text someone so they know where you are?" And she's like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah. And then
if someone, first of all, you always text someone.
Yeah.
To tell them where you are.
Yeah.
But secondly, don't tell him no.
Mm-hmm.
Lie to him. Tell him, yep, texting my best friend right now.
Yep. Got my location on and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stupid. Okay. Were you immediately engaged with the book or did it take you a while?
I pretty much was engaged like pretty fast because, like I said, I knew that she was going to get kidnapped. And I was just waiting, like, how did that happen? Did he like wine and dine her? And then I just wanted to know what happened. So I was pretty much engaged right away. Yeah. And then the house for the drink, like pretty much after the first chapter is when they're headed to the house. I'm like, okay, it's keeping me engaged right from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though like there were so many red flags, and even if we weren't doing this for like a live show or a book discussion, I still think I would have continued reading it because even though like I just couldn't believe that she was following or getting in a car, going off with someone, even though we all know where the book was heading based on the synopsis. Like I did think at least the first chapter was very engaging, and like I was wanting to read more and wanting to find out what happened. It never fell flat, in my opinion, in the beginning, especially like once you get inside the house and everything. So
Yeah.
Renee said she was all in. So yeah, it definitely, like just reading the synopsis, it sounded like it would be like a very, very intriguing book as well. It had me interested from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. Super intrigued. I was immediately engaged, especially to see what the gifts were. Yeah, that was the other thing. I knew there was like gifts that were going to be happening, so I was very intrigued by that. But the second half was a struggle as well. Also, I did not realize the 12 Days of Christmas happens after Christmas.
Yeah, it starts. Christmas is the first day of Christmas.
Yeah, I did not know that. So I did learn that. This isn't on here, but what gift would you say? I don't want to say your favorite, but which gift
was the creepiest?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of creepy gifts. I'm probably going to say when they tattooed that bird on her. It was the canary.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he talked about how he killed this canary.
Yeah.
And then he tattooed the canary on her. I don't know. So some of the gifts were kind of dumb, to be honest. I tabbed them all. Let me see. So there was, the one gift was the ink and the tattoo needles. And then they tattooed the thing. There was like the stool. That was the stool wasn't like creepy, but the story that went with it was pretty creepy. The first gift was the small silver box with his baby teeth in it.
Yeah.
it was just, I don't know. They were just, I just wanted to know like what the gifts were instead of him like trying to, when he would give her the gift, well, he didn't really give her the gift, but when he gave her the gift or whatever, he would like present it to her like she's supposed to know what it means.
Yeah.
But the whole part, I hope everybody's gone because I'm about to say some spoilers.
Go for it.
The whole thing is that none of this happened, you guys.
Yeah.
None of this happened. He didn't kidnap her. He didn't give her these gifts. Mm-hmm. None of that happened. So for like Natalie, the woman that orchestrated this with her when they planned it, and like the fibers of her hair to make the paintbrush or whatever, and the bone shards and the all this, I'm like, so it would be like her DNA and stuff like that, so people would think that she really was dead. That is just that is mind-blowing to me. And that's why the gifts, when you're reading about them in the first part, you're like, man, that's kind of twisted. Baby teeth. Wow. And oh my gosh, this is you're getting this tattoo that gets infected and, all of this. But then when you get to the second part and you realize that they're making this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
The gifts aren't really as creepy as the fact that they're using their own DNA stuff to make these gifts.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I was reading the synopsis, it says like each day he gifts her with one item from his twisted past, his dead sister's favorite toy, disturbing family photos, and a box of teeth. I'm like, whose teeth are these? And then he said it was his baby teeth. And I was like, oh, well, that's
not.
Yeah,
we thought it was going to be, I can't say spoilers for you, but I thought it was going to be something like that.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, he murdered someone and collected their teeth. Like, what a freaking, no, it's his freaking baby teeth. Like,
okay. I mean, yeah, you don't want to get someone's baby teeth for Christmas, but it's not super, scary.
Yeah. No, like if it was someone, like if it was his dead wife's teeth, like, that would have been way better. But no, it was just his childhood.
And then, like I said, like the picture from his childhood, the stool wasn't really scary. They gave a copy of Bleak House was one of the gifts. So it was just some normal kind of stuff.
Yeah, they weren't as disturbing. I would say the tattoo and the stool, the story behind the stool, definitely creepy. But I mean, it's a stool. Yeah. But I guess like creepy gift would be the tattoo, especially if you haven't had a tattoo before,
or you don't want a tattoo and you're thinking like, does this person know what they're doing?
Yeah,
and exactly. Really even give her the tattoo. Natalie gave her the tattoo. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I would definitely say the tattoo. FYI, my sister did talk to a guy online for ages and then agreed to a road trip with her kids. She backed away due to a comment about her free time and found out later he was actually dangerous. Ooh, that's so scary. Crying faces. The candle bar.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty. Well, you're right. The candle was gross.
I forgot about that one. Can't say I'd not be icked about getting that as a gift. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I was so annoyed. Like, here's all the psycho stuff we came up with, but just kidding, not actually a thing. Yeah. And I don't know, like that, like I think I've slowly realized that I hate that because it's kind of like a cheap cop out.
Here's the thing. I just felt duped. Like I felt like what I went into this book for was a kidnapping story and what I got was a blackmail story.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, oh, she woke up and it was all a dream. Like it kind of gave me that vibe. So I don't know. And also, again, it's been done before. So it's nothing that original. But yeah, shocking, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything one shake for falling for a trap? Okay. Were there any characters that stood out or that you were rooting for?
Okay. So anytime someone gets kidnapped, obviously I'm rooting for them to get away somehow, some way. So yes, I was rooting for Jessica. I was hoping she would find a way to get out of there, save herself, save Christmas, be with her family, go back to her boyfriend, be madly in love and everything be perfect. I never felt bad for Dominic when he was telling us the stories. I never thought like, okay, you had a crappy childhood. It's okay you kidnapped someone and are torturing them and manipulating them. Like, that's okay. No, that's never okay. No matter what your childhood or adulthood or anything like that looks like, it's not an excuse. So I never felt bad for him, but I wanted her to be okay. We haven't really talked about that whole Kim storyline yet.
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead and bring that up now. That storyline was so annoying. I don't know if it would have not been in there if I would have been like, well, where are the cops? Why aren't the cops, investigating this and stuff? But like, it was literally so boring, and I didn't care what happened to her and her husband. He seemed manipulative and blackmailing to me and gaslighting her and like making her feel bad about wanting to be successful in her career.
Right.
And I just didn't like that. So I never was like, I hope you get the promotion, or, oh, I hope you get back with your husband. Like, I was just like, I don't even want this whole storyline about her to be in there. It was useless. It didn't provide me any enjoyment. And I just was like, sayonara, Kim. Like, I don't care what happens to you.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I was not interested in Kim's story at all. I mean, I feel like such a bitch for saying this, but like, I couldn't care if she got back with her husband, couldn't care if she got a promotion, couldn't care about her relationship with her kids and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like, someone gets kidnapped, you're supposed to root for them. I did not care about Jessica at all.
You're like, bye-bye.
Like, I'm sorry, when you make stupid decisions, or like when you make what does my husband always say? Stupid players play stupid games, and I'm sorry, you made a stupid decision. Not that I hope in real life someone would do this. I did think Dominic was the most interesting character, even though like half the stuff was made up and wasn't real. But I don't know. I always like an unhinged, crazy person. I don't know why. I always like am more intrigued by their story. And even though none of it was real, but I did like, I guess, the story unfold of like each gift and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, didn't really root for Dominic, but I mean, he was the only one I actually was more interested in.
Yeah, he was definitely the most interesting character, I would say. I like how we were learning about his like childhood and stuff like that. And then even in the second part, we learned like even more about him and stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
Yes, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I really didn't like any character, especially the second half. Yeah, especially the second half, like she said. The urn had me suspicious that it wasn't real. Yeah, I agree. Can we talk about how the wife just flew under the radar? I feel like the author downplayed all the creepy, manipulative stuff done by the wife. Yeah, I agree. The wife was... I don't even know how to put it.
I think that Jessica was trying to point us, like, after I got to point, it was so funny because when I was reading it, I always had, like I said, I always had that sentence in the back of my head that Jessica has something going on. And they were saying like a couple of things. It was right from the beginning when she was like, you're basically reading a snuff book. And then, she talked about something like in the detective part, something happened at like work or something in the storeroom, or I don't know, in some room that they're not normally supposed to go to. And I was like, this is sounding very suspicious. And I marked it in my book where I had the exact theory that what actually happened. I sat down in my kitchen with my husband and I told him my theory from start to finish. And then literally like 2 pages later, it turned into part 2. And I was like, holy crap, I just literally told you all of this.
Yeah.
That the wife was alive, that she was behind it, that they were in cahoots, and like all of this. So yeah, and I never try to figure things out in like thrillers and mysteries and stuff like that. So for it literally just to be like laid out so plainly, I was a little disappointed by that too, that I just was able to like figure everything out. And then I was just like so spot on with exactly what I said.
Yeah. I kind of had the feeling, like, I didn't put the 2 and 2 together, but I had the feeling that something was more to the wife than, is like with the painting, like always being there and like them always looking at it as well. It kind of felt like the wife was always there, like in spirit or like behind everything. So I thought that was kind of weird, but yeah, I agree. Super annoyed with Kim's story, and her investigation also seemed pointless. I agree, especially towards the end. It all seemed kind of pointless. I thought Kim was going to get kidnapped next. I thought that's why they had her point of view. That that would have been more interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
I would rewrite that. Actually liked Kim's storyline. Okay. Let's get to the guts of the story. What the fuck was that ending? Yeah. Okay. I guess we could skip to that question. So how did you feel about the ending?
I thought it was okay for what it was. Mostly I just didn't care. That was the thing. Like I said, it was all a huge blackmail story, and that's not what I went in for. I went in for a kidnapping story. That's what I signed up for. I didn't get that. I did think it was kind of cool, like the very ending. Some people don't really understand what happened, but it's basically where Kim gets that call, or she has the decision, am I going to call it in? Am I going to keep working on this Jessica case, or am I going to call my husband and kind of repair things with him? Well, you can tell that she called her husband, which why she would ever go back to him after he's gaslighting her, manipulating her the entire time, and downplaying her role as an investigator and all that. Like, I don't understand. But so she obviously calls her husband, Sean, and decides to drop the Jessica case because Jessica is in that new apartment at the end. That was her goal. Like, she had talked about, like, people kept reaching out to her, offering her money to sell her story type thing. So I'm assuming, it didn't say, but I'm assuming she got this big fancy apartment because she obviously sold her story of some kind and got the money so she could afford the apartment, which means that since she was able to sell her story, that obviously means that Kim called her husband instead of continuing the case. Because I think she pretty much had it figured out at that point. And then, of course, when she gets to the apartment, she can hear Dominic's voice again because it's always a thing. She's always heard voices. Even her parents talked about that. So now she's haunted about what she did, and she still hears Dominic's voice.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. After I read it, and after I had after I had come up with everything for the live show and everything, I was like, let me look at random people's reviews and stuff like that, especially towards the ending, just to make sure I understood it, because I did feel like it was slightly ambiguous. Which call did she make? Is she really hearing Dominic's voices? And I feel like a lot of people are agreeing with what you said. Like, she did get a call, or she called her husband, the apartment, hearing Dominic's voice and things like that. So I guess going back to the first part of the story, I guess the voices were real, because it was mentioned by her parents talking to them that she did hear voices and things like that as well.
But it's so weird that they kind of used that almost against us.
Yeah.
Did they want us to think oh, she's unhinged, she hears voices or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And
so that was the ending. I mean, that's what I got out of it. But what I did like that ending, how it was kind of ambiguous, and you had to kind of put the puzzle pieces together. But I also don't think that it fit with the writing style of the rest of the story, because there were no puzzle pieces to put together unless you put them together early. You know what I'm saying? She laid everything out pretty. Here's what happened. This is why we did it. Here's where the hair came from. Here's where the stuff to make the candle came from. I mean, she laid everything out, and then at the end she kind of did this word play or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Let me get back to my questions. Based on the format and style of the book, how would you describe the writing?
One thing I love in thrillers is obviously the twists. I'm all about the twists, and I do think that this book had some tricks up its sleeves. Splitting the storyline into two parts, obviously that's a big twist, because you don't expect it to midway for Dominic to die and then her go off, and it's really not about that, it's something else. So I did like that. Also, it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be darker, Still Missing, things like that. The gifts, I wanted them to be darker. I felt like the first part that I was enjoying so much, when I was reading it, I felt like there were these huge chunks of time missing. like she would go from, and I mean, obviously now we know why, because it was all made up.
Yeah.
And she was like poisoning herself and stuff. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why there were chunks of time missing, but when I was reading it and I didn't know that this was all made up and orchestrated, I was like, why is she skipping so much juicy information? Like, literally, what are you doing for a whole 24 hours before you're chained up in this kennel again? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What are you doing to get away? You know, he restricted food at some point. Like, have you started eating again? Like, he was watching her go to the bathroom. Like, how did that happen? You know, there was just so many things that I was like wondering about. Like, why aren't you going into more detail about this?
Right.
And then, of course, I was always going back to the thing I keep talking about where it says, like, she may have something that helps her get out of this. I was like,
Mhm.
what is that? Are you going to tell me what it is so I can, like, root for her even more or what? So I didn't like that I wasn't believing it so much because I felt like I was jumping around in time, even in that first part of the book. And then once we found out it was all made up, I was just kind of mad. So.
I would say the writing style is very easy to read. Like I would compare it to like Lucinda Berry. Like I didn't feel like I had to like solely focus on this book. I could listen to the audiobook. I felt like the narrator was pretty good. My only complaint is I would never know when it switched from Jessica to Kim in the audiobook. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are we talking about? Whose kids? Like, who's your husband? Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I have to backtrack. Yeah,
Oh.
like I would never catch myself like seeing the point of view switch from Jessica to Kim and Kim to Jessica. So I was getting very confused. But I do like that the writing style was easy to listen to
Mhm.
and things like that. Like I didn't have to like concentrate on it like a Stephen King book or something like that.
Right.
But if you like Lucinda Bear's writing style, I think you would like this one as well. I also feel like it was kind of comparable to Chevy Stevens, like as far as like
Yeah.
the read.
Yeah, I think like if beginner thriller lovers can
Yes.
definitely pick this up because I don't think you're going to have read this story a million times.
Mhm.
So I think it's good for beginners or
Yes, I would
anybody.
agree.
The storyline intro. If you like kidnapping stories, if you like blackmail stories, you like manipulation stories.
This one's for you. Oh, let's see. Yes, that was my problem with the audio too. I wish there was different voices for Jessica and Kim. It wasn't clear what, yeah, exactly. Like it kind of felt like it needed to be like chapter 1, Jessica, and then switch to Kim, and then back to Jessica, end of chapter kind of way. But yeah, I had to like keep rewinding because I would like lose myself there. I like the writing style. I wanted to read something else by her. I kept thinking they were going to say Jessica was on the spectrum.
Yeah, that I would not have been surprised if they said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of just some of her mannerisms, how she was like very open with her, self and her family and all of that in the beginning, kind of very trusting and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then Vanessa also agrees about the audiobook and stuff like that. So based on what we've talked so far, would you say the story delivered? Did it meet your expectations? Was it a letdown? I'm going to say it's a letdown.
Let down.
Yeah.
Yeah, let down for sure, unfortunately. Like I said, really liked the first part. That's what I was going into it for. I feel like, the synopsis obviously can't tell us everything, but I mean, we wouldn't have picked it up probably, but I think that it could have the majority of the book was the second part. I felt like the first part read very quickly. You're just, what is going on? What's next? What's the next gift? What's it made out of? What is she going to get? But then when you got to the second part, it did kind of drag a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I also was reading and I was like, oh, it's like the 6th or 7th day of Christmas. Like, I was like, but I have this huge chunk.
Yeah.
I was like, how are the days going so quickly? I kind of wish, again, like the whole second half didn't existed. There was more in the first part, more details, and like more chances for her to like escape and things like that as well. But yeah, I was just like, I feel like the first part should have been dragged a little bit more, and the second
She
half.
was even talking about the color of the key fobs, and I was like, I'm paying attention to it for you, Jessica. You don't have to remember what color it is. I'll remind you.
That's so, yeah. And I was like, gosh, why does he have so many keys? But yeah. Um, I forgot to do this one, but Marcy says she stopped by to say hi. She hasn't finished the book yet. So no worries. Just come on back if you're still here. You can hear me. Let's see. It was a letdown because I wanted it to be creepy, psychopath killer, and it ended up being a scorned woman. And I feel like that trope is overdone. Yes, I agree. Also, I feel like I kind of overhyped it a little bit because I was like, a Christmas thriller.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it could have been amazing, but it definitely
we tried.
Yeah, we tried. I mean, I feel like it was a perfect book for this month too, as well. Will you give the author another chance, same genre or a different genre?
I will try more of her psychological thrillers. The other two that she writes is, let me see where I wrote it down, historical mysteries. I'm not going to try those. Yeah. And the contemporary dramas, I'm not going to try those. So I would try her again. But I'm not rushing out to get the next Tammy Cohen book.
I agree. And like I said, I have the other one. I just placed it on hold at my library. They All Fall Down, I think is what it was called. So I definitely want to try that one because I don't know, something about like psychiatric hospitals sounds interesting. So hopefully it's nothing like I've read before. So I definitely want to give her another chance, but if she doesn't wow me in that one, then I'm done. But I might check out some of her because I didn't know she had 3 pen names, so I might check out her other books. But I mean, historical mysteries, not a fan, and then contemporary drama, not really my cup of tea. But I'll at least look her up and stuff like that. I have to say, most of that was very interesting. Let's see. It wasn't what I expected. I liked the first part and didn't care for the second part. I would have rather it been genuinely kidnapped. Yes, exactly. Just like
it's a good kidnapping story.
Yeah, exactly. And then like it didn't happen. So I found it was an interesting read. I didn't feel it was a waste of time. That's good. Yeah, exactly. This is a stupid question. I don't know why, because we've already mentioned it. But between Jessica and Kim, which story were you mostly interested in?
Jessica.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kim, it was just, it added nothing to the main story.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to figure out, like, I think it was Lena that said it, that maybe she was going to get kidnapped or something. Yeah. I was like, why is she here? Like, I understand. Like I said, I don't know if it wasn't there, if I would have been thinking, well, where are the cops and what are they doing to find her? Like, but at the same time, I was just like, what does any of this have to do with her being kidnapped? It's not like they were like actually tracking her down. And then especially when you get to the second part, you're like, it's not even real.
Like none of it's real. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think if Kim would have been kidnapped or like something more believable would have happened, or even if it was real, it may have been more interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't. Okay, so we've already mentioned like the ending and stuff like that. Excuse me, plot twist. Besides like finding out that it wasn't real, were there any other plot twists?
Well, I did think that it was interesting that she was helping Natalie. I thought that was okay. That's cool. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that when she was doing the Skype call with Natalie, like after we found out that they were doing this, that Natalie was at her boyfriend's parents' house. I was like, oh no. And then Travis knew that she had the affair this whole time. I was like, that was wild. So that's what I'm saying. At the end, even though it wasn't real, she wasn't really kidnapped and all of this, I was like, it still had a few tricks up its sleeves, that Natalie really is, sleeping with her boyfriend and he knew, and she's at his parent. I was just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I agree. But even though it's not like I hated it, like I still feel like part 2 with it not being real was like the bigger twist. Yeah. But yeah, it just, it's a no for me.
It's a no for me. I was happy that it did, because once I found out that it wasn't real and that they had orchestrated all this, I was just like, because I literally marked it in my book when I told my husband. I told my husband, I was like, right here is where I had my theory. And then if you flip, it's part 2. So I was so pissed that because I didn't know it was going to be in 2 parts, you know?
Mhm. Oh.
And so I literally told him exactly. I was like, his wife's that night actually dead. They're working together. You know, I was telling him everything. And then 2 pages later, it's like, Gwen, you were right. And the end. Close the book. So I really did feel it was a slog when I had everything figured out. So I'm glad that it did offer a couple of extra things that I didn't see coming, like Travis knowing that she was having an affair, and then him having an affair with Natalie, and then Natalie and Jessica working together to orchestrate this whole thing. So it was cool that it had something to give me, but it was, I mean, that's all it offered. You know, the 2 things I mentioned was it. The rest was stuff I already said.
And I don't know about you, but when I start a book and it says part 1, I always forget about that. And then it's like,
totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like when books are part 1, I feel like I remember there's a part 1 when it doesn't matter because the story doesn't change. It's just like, oh, part 1 was in the spring and part 2 is in the summer, or something like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I feel like I lost my place there. Okay. I'm glad I read it. I would read another book of hers because I do feel like her writing style is easy to follow. Yes, I agree. Would a cop seriously call every day? That's true. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that with Natalie and the boyfriend. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I'm not going to ask that. I asked, like, the book split in 2 parts. Was there a particular part that you favored? Obviously, it's part 1 for both of us. And we've already went over the ending. Did you have any additional thoughts? I think you did put something on the thing.
Other than me going into this for a kidnapping story and it not having much of a kidnapping story, and me enjoying the first part because I thought it was a kidnapping story, it didn't really have enough Christmassy vibes for me.
Right.
I thought that the gifts would have kind of been a little bit like creepy Christmas related somehow. I never felt that it was around Christmas time or it was snowing and cold, and I don't know. It could have been, I don't know, dying for summer for all I know. Like it didn't, the only part that was Christmas was the gifts.
Yeah.
And the gifts didn't have to be under a tree. They could have just been, here's, Alcoholics Anonymous, 12 steps, and here's your gift. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Not enough Christmassy vibes for sure.
Yeah. If you would have taken the whole like Christmas and like, I mean, he could have given her gifts like unwrapped and they were like locked away in like one of the rooms and stuff like that. And again, it wasn't really as Christmassy. I mean, I learned that 12 Days of Christmas happens after Christmas, but yeah, not very festive at all. So if you're looking for Christmassy vibes, not really there. So yeah. Before we end, I did want to share one more thing because I did have someone ask me, and I know I shared this with on my last reading sprint that was happening this Monday. But for those who have been asking, I do have Sleep When I'm Dead book club merch coming out. This is what I ordered personally. So yeah, I'm waiting for it to come in. I just want to like make sure it's good quality, make sure for one, it doesn't get canceled again because of the logo. But for those of you who are wanting to know, I do have merch coming. That is going to be definitely something happening in 2022.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've been wanting merch since I started this, and for some reason, because it looks like Starbucks and I have proof of purchase, they just won't print that print. So, also, I did not bring it in here, but I did recently announce the January book club pick. It is The Glass Forest by Cynthia Swanson. I did just post a video on my channel. It is with Marcy from Marcy Reed. She was in the chat briefly. So, but that live show will be January 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely go check out. But also make sure you go follow Gwen. Thank you so much for co-hosting. But yeah, I'm sure I'll ask you to come back on soon enough.
Yeah, I'll be back, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. Definitely check out her channel, her Instagram, her podcast. It's amazing. Definitely go check her out. But yeah, let me just read the last few comments. We've already read that one. 12 Days of Wine. Can
Yes.
you write a book? Dying for Wine. Yes. Featuring the wine ladies that we went with, because there was no wine. So hopefully we'll find another wine festival as well. Thank you. I'm so excited for the logo. But yeah, if no one else has any comments, I guess we will end. Did you have any last comments, Gwen, or anything?
No, I just want to say thanks for having me. I
Oh.
hope everybody that read it, like, even if you didn't love the book, you still had fun. And yeah, that was really fun. I shared the first chapter doing that. I just had, even though like I didn't enjoy it, I had fun with it still because I don't know, this like made it special. So I love your book club. I love reading thrillers. So anytime you want to have me on, I'm here.
Perfect. Also, I did think it's interesting because I saw a lot of people tagging me saying like 5 stars, and they're not here, which is fine. I mean, you know, life gets busy, but I do know a lot of people rated it like 5 stars, saying it was amazing, which I'm happy. You know, I'm glad we picked a book together that people loved. So, but yeah, let's see. Yes, thank you so much for coming. Hope to see everyone in the next one. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video or live show.
Yeah. Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays, everyone. Yeah, of course. Bye.